Welcome to UI training. On the bottom, right here, I believe, you can see this kind of progress bar of this live stream. I've decided to add it so that you will be able to tell which part you are mostly interested in, how long it is still until the end of the webinar. So yeah, the live is split into 4 parts. I'm targeting towards around 1.5 hours of the whole webinar. So it will be split into those 4 parts. The first one will be this preparation, inspiration phase. We'll talk about what we'll be building today. I will try to explain you why we are building it and what is a purpose of this quite specific piece of UI, which is actually very popular, so stick around, I will show you that in just a second. And also we'll jump into the Figma, so I will show you the exact design we'll be building today. I will guide you just a minute or two through my thinking process, through the design elements I've prepared, and we'll continue from there to building the actual UI. So this live stream will be very I wouldn't like to call it technical, but what I want to say is that we'll be building a lot of stuff. It will be very practical, and in fact, if you want, you can follow along. You can also download or open your Unity project, download starter assets, which are available on my training website, link in the description or in the pinned comment, and you can follow along and build the UI with me. I will try to make it interesting both for those who already build something and for those who are building their first UI. So we'll see if you will have any small questions along the way. Let me know down in the chat, and I will try to explain something further if the explanation is not advanced enough. Okay, then we'll build a responsive UI. What I mean by that, we'll be building UI only for one screen, but then for around 10-15 minutes, we'll try to make it responsive so that it will fit for multiple screens. As you can imagine, there are like thousands of different screen sizes in the mobile games world. So I will try to target that, and we'll try to stretch the UI and make it flexible for many different screens. And after that, we'll have a nice working screen. One very important fact, we won't be coding today, so if you only like to build UI, this live stream is for you. We won't be coding today, and because of that, this screen will be visual only. You will learn how to build UI, how to make it responsive, but we won't build any logic, just something to keep in mind. And finally, at the very end, we will do some Q&A session. So if you have some bigger questions along the way, go ahead, maybe note them down, and we'll come back to them at the very end. If you will have some small questions, I will try to answer them along the way. But yeah, keep in mind this last section is for your bigger questions. And you can see this small present at the end. Yeah, I have some small gift for you. Surprise awaits, so stick around till the end. Okay, there is a small question, where will the recording be available? If you are signed up, if you are not, just click the button in the description. You will receive recording tomorrow. Link to it will be in the mail. Okay, Yeah, I have slide exactly for that. Yeah, webinar is recorded. It will be available tomorrow to check it out. Okay, I'm still very pink, but hopefully that will end in just a second. What will be building today? I have actually this very nice, yeah, let's skip to the first stage, inspiration preparation. What will be building today? We'll be building something which is called mobile game lobby UI. This is not lobby like in FPS games where you wait for different opponents. No, what I'm talking about is this main menu screen, which is popular in many mobile games and also in some popular PC games, free to play mostly. And as you can see, this screen is not gameplay, right? But it is this is the screen where many players spend a lot of their time, because this is the screen where you decide what you will be playing. Maybe you select map, you select opponents, but also you select different sorry, not select, you actually go to the store and maybe purchase some coins, gems, I don't know. There are some elements like battle passes. Actually, in the next slides I have that nicely shown. So here are a few examples of how games utilize this. This is Brawl Stars, very popular mobile game, and this is their main menu screen where you can play the game, but you can of course also go to the events or Brawl Pass or your character info, or you can view currencies, all of that. Another example, Clash Royale, great example of a game which ported this game UI lobby to horizontal, sorry, not horizontal, to vertical phones. So now you have even more information on top and on the bottom. And for PC lovers, some big screen examples. Fortnite. You also spend a bit of time in this game UI lobby where you learn about current season, you purchase new things, you go to battle pass menu, and so on and so on. I have here last example, which is how it's called? What is the name of this game? Fall Guys. Fall Guys. Just to show you what I'm talking about, in all of those games we have pretty much the exact same elements. So we have currency display. Fall Guys, yeah, thank you. Currency display. Almost all the games have some kind of currency, even multiple currencies. We have Battle Pass, Fame Pass in this example. We have some tabs. It's very common element. Pretty much all games have it because there are a lot of UI elements to show. We have, what is it? Player information, some level, player name, badge, and so on. And also what is really important, big button to enter the game, because this is the final goal. But yeah, it's usually big button with option to just play the game or maybe select map or something like that. Okay, so I've showed you already what we'll be building. We'll come back to that in just a second, but before that, it's worth to talk about how we can get some inspiration for our UI. We don't want to reinvent the wheel every time. We want to check how other games have implemented the same thing. So I want to show you this extremely amazing resource called Game UI Database. There are actually a few similar websites, but I really like this one. Let's go to my web browser. Game UI Database. As the name suggests, hello everyone. Hello, I see a lot of hellos in the chat. As the name suggests, Game UI Database is a place where you can browse how UI looks in different games. We can, for example, check, do you have any games you maybe would like to check on Game UI database? Any favorite ones, mobile or desktop? Something we can preview so that you will see what this is all about. I'm looking at the chat. Any requests, any ideas for nice games with nice UI? Mario RPG, Halo, Animal Crossing has some really great UI system. Okay, I can see 2 Halos. I'm not really familiar with those series, but let's check it out. Halo. There are of course different Halo versions. Let's maybe select one of the modern ones. And here we can see a ton of different screenshots which are split into some categories. So for example, title and settings. We can preview how main menu looks in this game. I wouldn't call this lobby. It's very basic, basically like in old school games, you just select start game, but I can see still that there is shop here, some news, so it's something in the middle. Your voice is very cute, thank you. Let's check different screens. Here are some settings. So this is also a very important part of the game UI. Settings, they should be very transparent to the player. They just come in, change some settings quickly and go back to the game. So it's still something that you need to design and spend your time on. And let's check one more thing, like skill tree, for example. Here we can check how skill tree looks in this game. Yeah, so as I said, if you're designing any of those elements, it's great to check Game UI database and basically check how different games implement the same thing. What is really important, just to continue this Halo example, I agree with Dante, 5 or Reach are better. Okay, I can check Halo 5, maybe. Okay, this one. Yeah, I don't know those games and those UIs, to be completely honest with you, so sorry, I will just scroll around very quickly. Also, I see that here on the Game UI database there are not a lot of screenshots for this game in particular. But yeah, okay, let's continue. So, for example, if you're designing, I don't know what... sorry, I will go back here. it was, yeah, let's stick to those settings. If you're designing settings for your game, you can click this button, settings, audio, and now you have a filter of all the settings in different games. You have a title here, so you can get a ton of inspiration how settings look in different games. Great resource, and we'll actually use it right now. So let's search for Brawl Stars, the same example I was giving you just a second ago. And here we have this part. So I will filter by this mode and screen select type of screens. And then let's apply some filters. We have some filters like UI style. Maybe you like to do a flat style of your UI, or maybe you like to have some nature elements in it. But this time I will apply a very basic filter, which is display portrait, because today we'll be doing a portrait game. And this is the straight inspiration for what we are building today. So because this is this lobby, screen, portrait, perfect example. So let's scroll around and find some interesting screens. Here we have Clash Royale. Oh, wow, 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 I'm very white. Sorry for that. I just checked. Okay. Here we have Clash Royale. As I said, this is amazing example for this type of screen. And actually, I think that many games have followed this design, because when I will start scrolling around, actually, we can see, for example, this game, Lego Star Wars Battles. I actually played it a little bit. If you played any of those games, let me know in comments. If you've seen similar screens, let me know. I also want to learn. Maybe you never really noticed them, but now when I'm speaking about them, you think, well, okay, actually, I spend a lot of time in this main menu lobby screen. So yeah, think about it. Let me know in the chat, not in comments, in chat. But continuing this journey, Lego Star Wars Battles, very similar screen to this Clash Royale. And also, I believe I've seen here some Sonic game, which has really similar interface. Yes, this one. This is, I would say it's one-to-one copy, of course, with some Sonic skin, but as I said before, big play button, currencies, player information, tabs on the bottom. This UI, which is hit or miss, but it's also oftenly used with those chests. Yeah, you can see all of those screens are very similar to each other, and yeah, obviously that's because that's because they work, right? The final goal is so that player will pay some money, right? So this screen keeps you entertained, keeps you inside the game, and sometimes, only sometimes, after you spend enough time, they will show you some new promotion, something to buy, maybe go to store, new sale, and so on and so on. So that's how it works. Okay, so now that we have this inspiration, I'm looking at the chat right now. Pokemon Go. I wouldn't say Pokemon Go has any lobby screen. After you log into Pokemon Go, you are immediately put into the map. Let's actually maybe check Pokemon Go. You are instantly in the map. I know because I played this game a lot. Yeah, this is basically the first screen you see after login. So I'm not sure. Of course, it has store. It has some additional screens, but I want to separate like the game lobby and the gameplay itself, right? So here, I would say it's more tied to each other. Another example, Subway Surfers. Exactly, Subway Surfers have Subway. Oops. Surfers, and am I spelling it incorrectly or something? I don't know. Let's just Google it. Yeah, similar UI. We have those buttons, currencies, some tabs or buttons on the bottom, and basically whenever you tap somewhere here in the middle, you start the game. So the same scheme. Okay, let's move on. We want to build something, and this, whoops, spoiler, and this will be this screen. I followed the same principles, the same ideas I was talking about a second ago, the same elements, just to show you a nice example of what kind of screen we can design. And I also selected, why not, a pirate theme. So we have here currency with gold coins and rubies. We have player nickname and some menu options. Obviously, as you've seen a second ago, it's popular to spam those options here, but we'll design a very clean UI today. Then we have this pirate pass. very popular in many games. By the way, sorry, I forgot to mention, it was strictly inspired by Clash Royale, so here is a comparison. So again, the Battle Pass section, and on the bottom we have big sale button, to start a game, and also some I don't know, chest to open chest screen, and then tabs on the bottom. So yeah, this is the screen which we'll be building today in Unity. So as I said, if you want, you can open Unity on the side and build it with me. But before we'll do that, I would like to show you the thinking process, design process. I won't be designing all of that from scratch in Figma. Clash of Pirates, yes. I won't be designing all of that from scratch in Figma. This is a completely different story, but I want to show you, yeah, as I said, thinking process and how I will build it step by step. So, first I've started with this screen, just a background, or you can think of it as a ship that we have currently selected, our ship. Then I laid out those sections of the screen. Before even designing any buttons, I wanted to plan out the structure of the screen for this game. Then I have this whole section with button designs, so I show you along the way how, for example, this button, this container was created from simple shape to, I call it Duolingo button. If you do Duolingo, you may be familiar with that. Then I added paper texture, and this is the final look. And then for this play button, I thought, well, this is a special button. This is something that we really want player to create. So I created it very special with this gold gradient, the special text, and so on, with all those shadows. So this is my thinking process. I'm going very quickly through this. This is not a design stream, this is a build stream. But here is how it looks next. Some sections here, currency here, and tabs on the button. We'll be building all of that in Unity in just a second. Okay, so let me check the chat. Are you considering safe areas for mobile devices from the very beginning, or will that be handled when we do the responsive design? We will be doing safe areas today, but we'll do that in the third part, which is this responsive part. So yeah, I'm considering that from the very beginning, because as you can see here in Figma, I have this iPhone 16 dynamic island is dynamic something notch, let's call it cutout, at the top, and the safe area on the bottom. So this is very important to think about when we are designing modern mobile games, and we'll implement a quick way to go over that, to think about safe areas in our game as well. In the meanwhile, I'm quickly looking at the chat. Maybe we'll answer just a few questions. In the meanwhile, please let me know what is your current experience with UI. Have you built something already? Is it your first UI in Unity, or maybe you're very advanced at it and just wanted to check out if you will learn something new? Please let me know in the chat. It's like 5 minutes of break, so I'm looking at the chat, and we'll go back to building in just a minute. Let me check the chat. I struggle about where exactly to put UI elements. I'm mostly doing with instincts. Are there any rules or in game UI, for example, should I have a specific gutters and margins? Okay, I won't go in depth for that right now. Maybe we'll be able to go back to that question at the very end, but the general rule is that you probably would like to put elements that are most clickable in the reach of the thumb, so somewhere on the bottom, or as you could see in those games, where was it, Subway Surfers, also those buttons are very attractive. Usually buttons at the very top are hard to click, like you put settings here, it's not important to click it, right? So the more important button for mobile, of course, I'm talking about mobile and this screen orientation, put it somewhere below because it's easier to reach. That's the very basic idea, I would say, for now. Let's get back to that question later on. Whoops. Just 2 more chats. Time up later, Coco. Sorry, see you later. Wanting to know if there's something new. Okay, great. Little to none experience. You have done Figma class. That is great. Oh, okay. I think that's great. So you might be able to design some UI in Figma, and after today you will be able to move it to Unity, actually. UI elements confuse where to put them. UI for... Okay, great. Great to have some mixed experience here. That will be very interesting. If you have any comments along the way, please put them in the chat. As I said, we'll probably be doing mainly basic things today, to be honest. But if you will have any questions regarding a bit more advanced topics, just let me know. Okay, I'm going to Unity and I'm creating new project in Unity 6. This is not the newest version of Unity 6, but it shouldn't be a big problem. Quite important, I will be selecting Universal 2D template. If you have Universal 3D or any other template, we can still build UI, that's not a problem, but some packages will be already pre-installed and also some import options are quite handy, so yeah, I suggest you to go with Universal 2D. I won't be creating new project here because I already have one opened. Let's go here. This is clean project, just created, nothing imported, just because I know sometimes Unity tends to create new projects for a few minutes, so I created that earlier. Okay, I can see still some comments about experience. Now I'm working second video game based in Ludo. Okay. To know what we are building today, let's go back to Safari for a second, and I will actually create a screenshot of this UI. I will create a screenshot and I will put it somewhere here in the corner so that you will have a nice understanding of what will be happening today. Okay, we need to start with a canvas. Canvas is a place for our UI where we will place all the UI elements. To create canvas, right click anywhere in hierarchy and select UI. Undo that, sorry. UI canvas. Here, small option canvas. You can also select image and that will create image inside of a canvas, but let's stick to canvas just for now. That creates this enormous screen which is totally unconnected to the main camera and your sprites and anywhere, anything that is already in your game. And what is really important about that is that UI, this canvas, will stay always on top of the screen, on top of your game. Just to show an example, I will put game here and I will create a new sprite, so new 2D object sprites triangle, let's say. This triangle will be in the position 1, 1, maybe I will make it a bit bigger, something like that. And then in Canvas, I will create new image. More on that in just a second, but right click on Canvas, UI image. And let's say that this image is, I don't know, health information. So it will be put somewhere here in the corner, like that. And now we can preview what I was telling you about in just a second. When I will double click on triangle, you can see that here is our triangle, here is the camera bounce. I can move this triangle, but the UI stays in the same place. I can move triangle, I can even move the camera, but UI stays in the same place. This is the beauty of Canvas. It's totally separate element, and actually when you click on Canvas, here you can see render mode screen space overlay. So it basically overlays on top of whatever is shown for the game. Oh, I forgot to switch mode. Okay, building UI, whoops, here on the left. Okay, so back to the Canvas, sorry. So today we'll be focusing 100% on Canvas. We won't have any sprites at all. So please keep that in mind. I will remove this triangle. Canvas. Okay, so as I mentioned, today we'll be doing a horizontal mobile game. Canvas is automatically being changed. The bounds of it are changed depending on the game preview. So I will go to this game preview, and here I will select, instead of QHD, I would like to select some kind of a mobile screen. I have a few presets here, like iPhone 7 or I don't know, 9x20. If you don't have any of that, just press plus here, add, let's call it phone 9x21, and it will be aspect ratio. Why 9x21, not 9x16? By doing that, we are closer to modern mobile phones, because when you look at your phone, you can notice that it's very tall, actually, also with this all notches and some bottom areas. Today's phones are very tall, so doing this aspect ratio, I would say, is more modern approach to design for this screen. Looking at the chat, because there are some new messages. This live stream will be available later on. Just sign up with the link available at the top of the chat, and you will be able to check it later. Okay, so this is our game preview. I will move it here on the right, which I think is actually quite a nice use of space, because we can immediately see the preview. And now you can see that our canvas has also resized. Actually, if for 1 second I will move it to free aspect, you can see how canvas is automatically being resized depending on the game preview. Something to keep in mind, it's good to set one resolution at the very beginning and design for that. And especially as a reminder, for now I'm designing the screen without thinking at all about the responsiveness. We are building a fixed screen, and later on in the third part of this live stream we'll think more about making it responsive. Okay, let's add, I will remove this image, let's add a new image to it. So in Canvas we can't use any of 2D objects like sprites and so on. We need to use special UI elements. So go to UI image, and image is a simple rectangle box which is either just a plain color, and you can modify it here, or when you go to source image you can fill it out with some kind of sprite with some kind of texture. For now it will be white, but I want to show you one issue. So currently we have this image, but when I will put this game to full screen, just double click on a tab, you can notice that this square stays with the same size. Actually, you can see that better now. Imagine we have smaller phone, but now we have this square enormous, like it's basically now it covers the entire screen. What's the issue here? The issue is with scaling, because by default the size we define of all the elements, this size stays the same no matter what is the phone size. So to fix that, to stretch all the UI elements depending on the screen size, the phone size, just click on the canvas, and here for canvas color, instead of UI scale mode, select scale with screen size. We'll ignore those settings today, but in my different videos I'm talking more about why all of those settings are also quite important, but let's ignore them just for now. I will now make this image a bit bigger. And now notice what happens when we make our phone smaller. We stretch the phone and the square stays with the exactly same size. So this mode is, in my opinion, far superior, at least in terms of making your UI responsive. I know that responsive is a third part of the screen, of this live stream, but this is a setting that is really important to set at the very beginning. Looking at the chat, zoom focuses on top left corner, not the place you want to show us. Oh no, okay, sorry for that. I won't be using zoom in this. Wait, let me quickly check how zoom works. Yeah, okay. Sorry for that. I can see that it doesn't work. I won't be using zoom for now. Okay, hopefully you can see everything sharp while it's not zoomed in. Hopefully that's right. Okay, next we have the square. We need to start building something. I think that instead of building everything at one go, we need to do some steps. So I will go back to Figma and I will start with this screen. As we did in Figma when we wanted to plan out our screen, I think it's also important to plan out the sections of our UI. So I will start using images to build currency, player info, and so on. This image, let's put it somewhere at the top. But here, before I will move it, one really important fact. You are probably accustomed to use W keyboard shortcut, or to click this icon here in Unity and then to move elements. Or maybe you are also using this tool, scale tool, to scale elements. But for UI elements, there is this special tool called the Rect tool. Click on it or click T on your keyboard. And now you have those blue circles in the square edges, which are really similar to other software, like in PowerPoint, Figma. Any graphical software has this kind of interface where you can easily change the size of the object. So I will use that to move the square here, somewhere here, like that. I want to be sure that it's in the middle, and to do that we can either use the guidelines. I'm not holding any keyboard shortcuts, it's automatically being set by Unity, those guidelines, or I can simply change X position to 0. So that, and this image, again, don't be fooled. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be an image. We can just use it as a color box. I will change it to this aqua color, like on this screenshot. So this will be currency. I will move it, change its size. I will be repeating that a lot of times during this live stream. It's really important to keep everything tidy in Unity UI, or in any UI or any game actually which you are building, but I will be talking about that a lot. So let's start clean and call this currency. Then I will duplicate it. Just right click, duplicate, or command Control D and move it here. This will be player info. Player info. Then I will duplicate it, move it here, and this will be just menu. I'm quickly doing that because I know it's not that interesting to look at. So here, battle pass. Then we move on to bottom section. We'll use this container for tabs this time. Tabs. And then chests. And play button. Again, Unity guidelines are very helpful. You can see that when I'm dragging this container, it automatically snaps to match the same edge like this one on the top. So please use those guidelines, and they keep your project very tidy. Like for example here, it would be terrible if we would have this container like that, but with guidelines it's really easy to snap to the same I don't know, edge as we had here. Okay, this is the basic structure. We'll make it way nicer later on, but we have something to start with. And to continue, I will import assets. Down in the description, you can download all the assets which we'll be using in today's video. Here are all the assets we've split into many containers, like background, buttons, even fonts which we'll be using, graphics, and so on. I will now simply take them and drag them to Unity. Okay, here we have download assets. And really important, if you had 3D template, let's say, you might have different settings than I have. Settings that are required for Unity UI are texture type sprite, 2D, and UI. Not default or normal map. We need to use sprite, 2D, and UI. And in our case, I would like also to use sprite mode single, because all of those images are single. We don't have any sprite sheets. So yeah, I will basically select all of them now. I know that we can change import settings, but let's do it quickly like that. And I change sprite mode to single. It will be quite important later on, so please do it as well. Okay, so now time to add background. So your first idea might be to take this background and drag it here. You might be accustomed to do it with sprites, and it works, but only with sprites. We just created sprite, but as I said before, we can't use sprites with Unity UI. We need to use the images. So to add this image, let's add another UI image to this canvas. I will call it background. I will stretch it to entire size of the screen and set its source image to background. Now we have this nice ship in the center. But here comes something really important, interesting, and in my opinion superior compared to the normal 2D elements or 3D elements in Unity. You can see that this background is on top of everything we've created just a second ago. So your first idea might be to change the sorting layer of this background to something, I don't know, -1, so that it will be rendered before all the elements. With Unity UI, you can't do that. There isn't any sorting layer. With Unity to change order in Unity UI, you need to change order in hierarchy. So, similarly as in graphical software like Photoshop, PowerPoint even, Canva, Adobe Illustrator, whatever you're using, the order you have here is really important because it dictates the order of the layers on the screen. So I will take this background and move it, I don't know, here under the tabs, and you can see that all the elements that are in hierarchy below the background are now displayed. When I will move this background at the very top, now the background is below all the elements of the screen. Okay, so here we have our background. Time to maybe one. I'm looking at my notes. Yeah, okay. I wanted to note that sometimes your background may be smaller. Actually, this background was stretched, which was not good. So I will click Set Native Size and now resize it. But now we have those black edges on top and on the bottom. How to fix them? In this case, we only need to change camera settings. We can, of course, create another image and put it below this background, but we can just go to camera, where is it? Environment, and background type, solid color black. That way, even without background, we have black color behind our UI. Something I wanted to quickly note. Okay, let's start with this sail button. Okay, let me check the chat. Why didn't you add the background to the camera background? That is because camera background? What do you mean by that? I'm not sure what do you mean by that, but hopefully that will be resolved later, because it's important to add background in UI when we want to make it responsive. Maybe later on we would like to stick background to the bottom edge of the screen, and then when we resize the screen vertically, we want it to be stick to the bottom, and that's only possible by creating that in the UI. Another chat message quickly. I'm one of the people who worked on Septica as part of Game Jam. I just want to say thank you for hosting. Great to hear that. I'm still planning a live stream with all the games about Game Jam, from the Game Jam, so I will be notifying about that. Okay, let's quickly continue. Sorry for that. Where is it? Play button. Let's design this play button. So you might remember that I have this, where is it? Primary button. Let's go to play, select sprite primary. Let's change color because it's colored by this blue tint. And what is it? Why is it stretched like that? Well, one thing I forgot to mention is that in Figma, after I designed all of those screens, I also created a separate screen here with all the UI exports. So for example, I took this button, duplicated it here, and stretched it so that it takes only this small, oops, let's remove text, this small amount of space. Actually it's 48 by 48. Why is it like that? First of all, we of course want to save space. We don't want to be wasteful in the game assets, but different reason is that we may want to use this button somewhere else later on in the game. For example, maybe we will decide to use it here for this hamburger menu. But if we'll import this large button asset, it won't work. We'll need to, I don't know, create another asset for this button. What if I will then create this button? We'll need to create third asset. It doesn't work like that. We need to think about something more flexible. So Unity has this great feature which is called sprite slicing, which we'll be using here, and it allows to slice the sprite into 9 different parts. Let me visualize that maybe quickly with this screenshot tool I have. So imagine that we'll split that into 9 parts, like that, more or less. We'll do that in Unity in just a second. Now I'm just giving you an example. And now imagine that we'll be saying to Unity, okay, never touch those 4 corners. Keep them the same, whatever is the size of the container. This is the first rule. Then the second rule is to always stretch top and bottom only horizontally, and then always stretch left and right only vertically, and the center just stretch it however you want. That way, with this, okay, maybe it's not simple, but with this one rule we can then create many containers with whatever size we want. If this is a bit complicated for you, first of all, check how it will work in Unity in just a second, but I have also a different video which explains that more deeply. So I will keep maybe this screenshot here in the corner, so you will have this understanding of what's going on. And let's go back to Unity. In Unity, we need to go to our assets, click on primary button, and here make sure once again that the sprite mode is single, click open sprite editor. Here we have a tool that allows us to do the exact same thing that we did just a second ago. I'm fighting with Unity UI here. Okay, here we can define those lines. To do that, just hold this green line here and move it. I know that it may not be visible on the live stream. Sorry for that. This line is green on yellow background. Imagine it's here. Let me know if it's visible for you. I will move this left line, this right line, line from the top, if I can access it, here and here. You can also input those values manually, so maybe I will manually do 42, 42 from top, 42 from right, and 40, maybe, sorry, not 40, 32 and 32 from the bottom. We just defined the exact same lines that I was talking about a second ago. If you can see it, I defined lines like that here. And again, those 4 corners will stay the same, top and bottom will be stretched horizontally, and left, right will be stretched vertically, center will be stretched in all ways. Let's apply that. Go back to our play button. Nothing changed, nothing fixed just yet, but now I can go to image type and change it to sliced. And that immediately did something. You can see that you can drag it, and whatever size the container is, it is being nicely stretched. I will actually make better resolution here. If your corners are too small, like mine, we can experiment with these values, with this value called pixels per unit. I will decrease it to 0.5 or maybe 0.8, and now the corners are way more visible. And again, with this one shape, I can now even, I don't know, duplicate this play button and maybe create something very small. Or maybe I would like to create something very big. This 9 slicing gives us way more flexibility, and actually we'll use it for pretty much every shape today. So it's a really important feature in terms of UI. Okay, let's remove those. Now I will do exactly the same thing for chest. Maybe on the blue background you will be able to see it better. So 32 from all the sides. Apply. Back to chests button. Here chests. And this time Unity UI already noticed that this is a sliced sprite, so the image type sliced is already set. I will change pixels per unit multiplier to 0.8, and now we have this nice rounded corners for our buttons. I will only slightly resize it to make it more square and play button a bit wider. Does it make sense? Let me know in the comments. In the chat. I'm not accustomed to say chat. I took a UI toolkit course and it was very based on HTML. Then I thought toolkit isn't for me. Maybe I got into a wrong course. UI toolkit is a new UI framework for Unity. It's totally different. I will be also doing some more videos about it. But for now, for beginners and also for production games, I would suggest to use the old UI system, which is Unity. It has a few years already, but it's still, in my opinion, more flexible, more powerful. It can be sometimes a bit annoying, but for beginners especially, it's this old UI system is way easier to learn, to understand. I wouldn't go with UI toolkit just yet. Okay, let's continue. We have those two buttons. Then we can add tabs. So I have this big image on the bottom. I need to speed up because there is already 1 hour of live stream and we are far away from the end. Tabs. Let's change color of it. I will use, oh no. We need to go to Figma and check what is the color of it. Okay. As you can see in our design, there is this bright stripe here and also this big selection, white color. I won't be generating any graphics for it. I can just replicate that in Unity. So this time, instead of doing new image in the canvas, I will create a new child of tabs game object. So right click on tabs, UI, image, I will call it top. Remember to name everything, and I will just simply stretch it here to the top edge, like that. And here we can actually not take this white color as a hex color, but we can just take white with a bit of transparency, like that. It can be actually a better idea, because if later on we'll decide to, I don't know, make this button bar red, this white will be automatically changed as a highlight of this background color. Okay, and then I will duplicate it once more, call it selection, or maybe select, and I will move it right here. Okay, something like that. If you want to resize something horizontally in both from both sides at once, you can hold Alt key on your keyboard while doing that, and that will resize from both edges at once. This is a very powerful tip, which works in many graphical software as well. Okay, so we have that. So I said that we are creating those two graphics as a children. What does it mean? So now this tabs contains of this big background dark image and two children which are part of it. Now when I will move this tabs game object, you can see that both children move as well with it. So this is a really good idea to first of all group things which are connected to each other, but the second thing is that later on when we'll be working on responsiveness of our screen, it will be very helpful to have a tidy hierarchy. Okay, inside of tabs we need to create three images. UI image, it will be selection, and first of all it will be this battle swords image. Let's put it here. Then I will add store image or icon, we could call it. I will make it a bit smaller because currently it's not selected. I like the idea that it's a little bit not in the bounds of the top bar, but goes a little bit above it, like that. And the third one, this will be trading. So tabs like that will work on texts at the very end, after we complete all the remaining sections. Let's look at the chat. Your graphics contain gradient. Adding those settings will also change the gradient settings of the graphics. Sorry, I'm not sure if I follow the context here. If you could please remind me what you are mentioning. Wouldn't it be easier to set up one button in grayscale and then just pick color tint to yellow and blue? Or are those two different? Great question. And yes, the answer is it would be easier. What Remar is saying, that we could, instead of having two graphics, just have one graphics in grayscale. I'm not sure if I will be able to quickly do that here. Let's try. Okay, like that. Change color to... 1 second. Let's go to Finder, buttons, and import it as an image to Figma. Let's do something like that. And here for image, I will change saturation to 0. And yeah, when we'll export something like that and import it to Unity, Unity will allow us to very easily change the color of it. And this is the great comment, because yes, this is the thing that I would do normally, but I thought that it's a little bit maybe too much for now. So for now, let's stick to two separate colors, two separate graphics, but keep that in mind that yes, this is a technique that is oftenly used. Actually, I will use it later on, step by step. Phil, hi, hello Phil. Yes, first stream in a years, I would say. Okay, let's continue. Bottom is completely done. Let's quickly go to the top section and build something around here. So here at the very top we have currency container. Actually, there are two containers here, the coin and gems container. So let's do that. I will create one parent called coins and move it here to the left. We'll create the second parent in just a second. Second child in just a second. Then I will disable this currency image because we don't need it anymore. And for coins, I have this special graphic prepared, which is where is it? Containers currency. As with any other container, we also need to edit sprite sprite splitting settings. So let's do that. Apply. And now for our coins, when we change image type to sliced, we have this nice container that easily rescales. I will resize it like that maybe. Let's keep pixels per unit multiplier 1, it's okay. Inside of coins, I will add new image. Whoops, not text. Image. Coin. And this coin will have simply gold icon. We'll keep it in the center just for now. We'll add text later on. Let's duplicate coins. Move it here. Change it to rubies. Whoops. Ruby. And change the graphic. Okay, nice. Now we have those two currencies. Again, later on with texts, and that will make way more sense. And now we can change the size of this currencies container. Okay, next up, player info. How it looks like here. We have this nice simple background, so let's apply it. Where is it? Container. No color. Let's set container splitting as always. This time I will move this edge a little bit to the top because you might have noticed it's not small and square, it's very wide. That's because there is a texture inside of it, so I wouldn't like to stretch it very much. I decided to make a bit bigger button. Okay, apply. Our player info, sliced. Now we have this nice sliced graphic. Okay. Inside of it we have one image with flag. I'm doing a speedrun here because this is all the time the same task to just set up containers and their contents, and later on we'll have a text. So that's it. For our menu, let's also select container 08, remove color, and inside of it we'll have an icon, menu icon actually. So icon, menu. I will resize it a bit like that. If you didn't know, this is oftenly being called hamburger menu because it looks like hamburger. So yeah, it's a common element in almost all UIs on phones in games. You are already accustomed to it. Okay, so hamburger is already here. Time for the last part actually. Let's move it, sorry. Time for the last part, the battle pass. So for the battle pass I have this graphic prepared. Let's quickly, for the last time I believe, set up those split settings. Maybe this time I will do 24 from each side. Apply. Go to battle pass, make sure it's set to sliced. Okay. But what's happening here? We should have those waves in the background and something should be happening. So I decided to split this battle pass container to two elements. This top layer with the edge and this glossy finish, and a background which will be behind the image, and this background can change depending on the pirate pass season, let's say. So Let's create another image, UI. Oops, it's here in the middle. I will put it exactly behind our frame. And I will set this Battle Pass background for it. Currently it's a bit stretched, so to overcome that I will change image type to, sorry, not filled, to tiled. That way usually we use that for tiling, but it also allows us to not stretch this image at this time. Okay, and finally we need to also put it behind the border, and as you might remember, we just need to take this image, I will call it waves, and put it behind the battle pass in the hierarchy order. And now we have this nice display. To keep everything tidy, as always, select those both items, right click and select create empty parent. Element in UI, element in hierarchy does not need to have any graphical representation. It can be just used as a parent or as a way to group some things. So this will be called simply battle pass, and this old battle pass will be called outline. Okay, in the meanwhile, love from India. Videos are awesome, thank you very much. Why currency is not an empty object but image? Currency not an empty object but image. Currency actually is empty object. This is exactly the same thing we just did with Battle Pass. Okay, I understand the question. You can see image here, but it's disabled. You can see this small checkbox, hopefully you can see it. This image is still here, but if I disable this checkbox, it's not visible. So yeah, you're right, for it was useful before, but now when we don't need this image anymore, we just click those small three dots and select remove component. So now this currency, maybe we should call it currencies, something like that. Oh, I don't know. Currency group, sorry. Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. So we have those three sections. Let's finish up quickly Pirate Pass. For Pirate Pass, we have one more object, which is this fold on the right. It has image component. We use this one. It will be here on the right. And again, we want to stretch it a bit, but it's being stretched the ugly way. So let's go to, where is it? Extra, Battle Pass right, Sprite Editor. And here, this time, we won't be doing this all sides 9 split, but we'll actually split it into only 3 sides. So from the left side and from the right side. We don't need to stretch it vertically, so we can only define those 2 sides from the right and left. Let's apply it and you'll see in a second what's happening here. So fold, sliced, and now whenever I resize it, the left side and the right side stays with the same size and only the middle part is being resized. I will modify this pixels per unit to 0.6 maybe. And yeah, it works nice. I intentionally left it a little bit on the right so that you think that it's a folded piece of paper, maybe behind this Battle Pass image. Yes, inside of it, let's look at our Figma design. We have text, again, text in just a second, and an image. So let's add new image, book, and it's like that. Perfect. And later on, when I will add text, I will probably also resize it, but let's ignore that just for now. Okay, There is still slider here or progress bar. We'll talk about that in just a second, but now let's finally add some texts. We have a lot of text to add here, 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 and also some buttons and tabs on the bottom. How to add texts? You might have already seen that when I was adding components, so let's start from the bottom. Here, tabs. Right click on tabs, UI, and this time instead of text, this time instead of image, go with text, Text Mesh Pro. Don't be scared with this Text Mesh Pro string. This is an old package bought by Unity and implemented into the core engine. And previously we had this legacy text component, but Text Mesh Pro is far superior. Basically, just use this if you want to have texts or labels in your game. So I will click on it. The first time you open it, you need to import TMP Essentials. Don't worry about it, just click it once and it will be already imported to your projects. It imports some default font atlas, and some default settings. So now we can see our text here. I will move it behind the tab. Let's preview it here on the right. And here on the right in Inspector, we have some basic text settings. If you ever used Word, you should be familiar with them. We can change the alignment of the text, so let's center it. We can change the size of the text, bold, and so on and so on. We can of course also change its value, so I will call it bottle. Okay, but we should also be able to change the font asset. So basically a different font. Let's click on it and select. We don't have any fonts to select. Let's check in our assets. We have imported different fonts. When we go to Finder, you can see that I've selected a few pirate looking fonts, especially for this project, but for some reason we can't use them in our text. The reason is that in Text Mesh Pro, to use a font, we first need to generate a font atlas. Based on this font atlas, we'll be able to then use it in the game. This is a one-time process for each font at least, and to do that, go to Window at the top, then Text Mesh Pro, Font Asset Creator. There are a ton of settings here, and I won't be focusing on them today, but all you need to know for now is that here in Source Font, just take your font, drag it here, and then click Generate Font Atlas. One thing, I will change Atlas resolution to 512. You should have it by default, I guess. Generate Font Atlas. Ooh, something is not working here. 1 second. I have been modifying some of those settings behind the scenes, so that's why it may not be working for you. If you're opening this screen for the first time, probably the default settings are fine, so please stick with them. Just click Generate Font Atlas, and for now we'll have a working font. Sorry for that. When we click Generate Font Atlas, just go to Fonts, save it, and now we have font with this blue F that allows us to use it in the game. So now when I have text, I click Font Asset and change it to this Calistonga Regular, and we have this nice text. I'm looking at the chat. Question maybe for later, any tips for dealing with localization text size changes? Question for later. Shouldn't the text be a child of the text it concerns? Great point. Again, thank you for keeping our today's project tidy. I'm trying to just do it fast and I may be forgetting something. Sorry for that, but yes, this is a good idea. Actually, ideally, we would select this and text and create new parent. So battle. I will duplicate this text, move it here, change it to trading, and now also change its parent. And finally, one more text, Command or Control D to duplicate it, rename it to store, and change its parent. This time I forgot about it because it doesn't really matter in today's project, but obviously later on, if for example you will have some fancy animation on button click, you will be able to do all of that by resizing one parent. So yes, this is really important long term. I just know that there is a lot of knowledge if you're just starting with Unity UI. Okay, so we have texts here for our tabs. They look really great so far. Let's here I forgot to add an image for the chest, so let's quickly fix that. Chest, where is it? Chest here. Okay. So yes, here for our big button we want to add new text, so that will be sale. At first, maybe you noticed in Figma, when I had this design process, I first went with play, but just for this screen I thought it will be more climactic to change it to sale instead of play. Okay. In Brawl Stars, I believe it's like brawl or like some kind of call to action for the player. Okay, one thing need to check. Okay, sale. As you can see, currently we have white text on the bright background, which is not ideal. I will first of all increase its size. We need to generate another font atlas. So font asset creator, let's drag, this font is called treasure map. So I have this treasure map font, generate font atlas, save it, save. And I will also generate font atlas for this The Room Is Gone font. A very pirate style. Okay, so sale. Let's change font to this treasure map. Way better already, but we still have readability issues. We can change its color to just the black. Way better because previously it was unreadable. But as you can see in this design, I decided to go with this fancy effect like border color and also a bit of a shadow. So let's try to replicate that. And actually with Text Mesh Pro it's possible. I can change this vertex color back to white, but scroll down and here under the material settings we have, for example, outline. So I can increase some kind of outline like that, and then I can also add underlay, offset Y, and change its color to black like that. And now softness is 0. It's not a shadow, but just basically a duplicated text a bit down, moved a bit down. Yeah, so now this text is way more readable. It still could be improved, of course. Maybe you can just increase the outline, something darker, but I will keep it like that. For now, we won't focus on that today. You can experiment with your text however you want. Let's quickly focus on our currencies. For coins, I will add one more image. This time it uses The Room Is Gone text. it will say, let's say, the same currency number. This font is okay, it's different than this one, but let's go with it. This font has those characters a bit too close to each other. So here in TextMesh Pro you have spacing options and you can increase character spacing like that. I will increase its size to 42, for example. Center it, or maybe not center it, maybe I will move it to the right. Move it to the left of the coin graphic and select both and move them here. I'm doing all of that manually. Of course, later on when all of that will be connected to the script, there are better ways to do it, and maybe I will show you how to do it if you want in the responsive part. But let's just for now keep it that hard-coded in terms of design. So another text for rubies. This time we have way less rubies, 170, and I will move both of them to the center. Okay, texts for currencies are done, nice. Then for our player info, quick text, color black, font, the room is gone. I will call it, do you want to have any nickname, any ideas? Nickname, like that. Ooh, flower, okay. Ooh, okay. I can see here that for some reason Unity is treating this font a little bit differently than Figma. If I would go to Figma, okay, I can do it on this computer, unfortunately. But as you can see, for example, here with this letter M, we do not wait until the M finishes. We go immediately with letter E. But here Unity appears to be handling that differently. We won't be fixing that right now, but that is something to keep in mind. I will think about that later. Maybe I will add some kind of note how to ignore that behavior. Okay, let's make it just a little bit bigger. Yeah, with this looks badass with this O character. Make it a bit bigger like that. Center it vertically. Let's move on to the battle pass. Here I will maybe duplicate this text actually. 5 out of 10. Place it here. White color. Here there is a really important lesson, because if I would like to add new underlay for this font, it will actually add underlay for all the instances of this font usage. Like for example, you can see that here flower is also receiving this shadow. To fix that, we just need to take this, the RAM is gone, duplicate it in the assets, and add, I don't know, shadow info. So now for our battle pass text, I will use this different font asset with shadow, and I will add shadow to it without affecting any other instances of this font usage. Okay, 5 out of 10. One more text, which will be here inside the fold. Here we have pirate pass. I will use normal font without shadow, black, way smaller, maybe a bit closer characters. Again, this R and A is killing me, but I can't really do anything regarding that. Okay, Pirate Pass, let's move all of that to the left. Both this book and our fold graphic. Okay. I believe that almost finished our screen. So we have this bottom section with the treasure, with the big button, with tabs. We have top section with currency display, with player info with this flower nickname, hamburger menu, our battle pass, but there is one last element missing, which is this progress bar. And this will be our last component, which we'll be learning about today, how to create such a progress bar. So when you, I'm clicking up here, when you right click and go to UI, search for any elements, you can see that we do not have element called progress bar or anything like that. The reason is that there isn't something like that built in, but we have where is it? Slider. Slider by default, actually I can create it right now. Slider by default is this component that is interactive, and user can click on it, drag it around, change its value, and I don't know, populate some kind of number, maybe character creator and so on. But we can very easily use it for our progress use case. So first of all, in this slider I will disable interactable toggle, so player won't be able to just click on it and drag it around. Then I will change its value to something in the middle. Then slider has a few children. One of them is background, which is this background not selected area. Second is fill area, so area which is active. And the third one is handle. We won't be using handle, just right click on it and delete it. Now let's take our slider. Here I will resize it like that. Okay, it has nice size now. And let's style it. So for the background I would like to use this sprite, which is black, simply black. But one of you in the comments have mentioned this way of coloring sprites with this example, so I will do it right now. So instead of using explicitly set color like black, I will use the white version of it. It's plain 100% white, but we can color it. Before coloring it, I will set up splitting, so go to slider, white, sprite editor. The same as with this paper fold, I will only modify the edges. Let's save it, apply it, and now our background, sliced background, can be changed to black simply using this color wheel. If you want to have red one, we can set red one. If you want to have black, let's go with black. And I will introduce a bit of transparency, as you can see here. So black with, I don't know, 180 transparency. Okay, and let's do the same with fill. This time we don't need to prepare the graphic from the ground up. We can select our white peel shape. It's already sliced, already nice, and I can change its color to something maybe the same color as the border. I have prepared this different graphic, which is a bit nicer, has this gradient I won't be able, maybe I can show you that in, in Safari. Where is it? Yeah, here. It has a little bit gradient, but just for the sake of this tutorial, let's stick with this plain color. Looking at the chat, hello everyone, hello Alicia. What about the point counter? Shouldn't I make sure that the text doesn't wrap? Point counter, you mean this progress indicator. If you have this container very big, there shouldn't be an issue with wrapping, but yeah, you're correct that if your container is very small, some wrapping may occur. To fix that, go to your text. Oh, here, I have this exact issue. If the container is too small, some wrapping occurs, but even, first of all, you should make your container bigger, and that shouldn't be any issue. But if you need to have this container small for some reason, you can go here to the text inspector and change text wrapping mode from normal to no wrap, and then it will always stay unwrapped. But if you want to modify the text size based on the container, for example, here we have this flower, but let's say this is some longer name. Flower. Okay, now we have this problem. So this name is too long. It started to wrap, but we don't want it to wrap, so I will change text wrapping to no wrap. It now overflows. That is not ideal as well. So I can select here auto size. When auto size is selected, TextMesh Pro will do everything it can to modify text size so that it will fit into the container. It's good to also change the container size, and now whatever is the name of the player, it will auto resize the text. Okay, maybe change it to pirate. Here also you can modify minimum and maximum size options. I believe that this maximum is too big. I will change it to 42. And we have this pirate nickname. Hopefully that answers your question. Please let me know if that was what you were asking about. Okay, so to sum up our design, we have our bottom tabs. We have our sail button, we have chests button, we have battle pass with this nice paper fold on the right, we have progress indicator, and with slider later on in your game you can of course have some kind of variance in this value. You have pirate player nickname, hamburger with some more menu, and currency. And I guess that's all for the building stage. We've built the whole UI. Of course, it can have even more elements or be a bit nicer. We are building it quite fast today, but because it's taking too long to get to the next part, let's quickly jump to the responsive section. So, as a recap, what I mean by creating a responsive UI. For now, we designed everything for this 9, actually I can zoom this time, right? We designed everything for this 9:21 aspect ratio. And it's fine. That covers actually quite a lot of devices. But what if we have a different device which maybe has an aspect of 9:16? Let's switch to it and check what happens. The UI is not stretched, it's fine, but it's cut off. Here you can see the bounds of the screen, and basically now all the tabs are inaccessible. We can't see currency values and so on. How to fix that? Actually, the fix is quite easy, and Unity UI system gives us amazing powers. There are things called anchors. As the name suggests, anchors allows us to stick some parts of the UI to the screen points, screen edges, to whatever we want on the screen. So currently, when you go to, let's say, tabs here on the bottom, here in the inspector on the right, you have something called anchor presets, and this anchor gives you this nice visualization. What is the anchor point for this element? And for this element, currently it's center. So whenever we stretch our screen vertically, this anchor still thinks that it should be stick to the center and nothing changes. But what if we go to tabs, click on this, you can click on it, this is a button, click on it to this anchor presets and change this anchor to, for example, bottom center. Let's click on it, and now notice that when I will change game view to, where is it, to mobile, now tabs stay sticking to the bottom edge of the screen. Let's do that and do the same for play and chests. So I selected both, click here, bottom center, and now when we change mobile aspect, we have those buttons sticking to the very bottom. Sorry, those buttons are being kept at the bottom edge of the screen. And it works great with just a few clicks. And now let's do the same for all the remaining elements. So, currency group, player info, battle pass, and menu. I don't know why menu is here. Let's move it here. So, currency group, player info, menu, battle pass. Let's change their anchors to top center. Now they are top center. Let's change the resolution. Maybe I will actually do free resolution to give you a better idea what's going on. So now when I will change screen size, it nicely resizes the whole. Even if you would have, I don't know, a lightsaber phone, it still resizes very, very nicely. So using anchors is really important in your UI. In this case, we have extremely simple buttons and UI elements that we can stick to the top and bottom edge, but maybe while doing a game with HP bar, you would like to stick it to the top left side of the screen with health bar. It's up to you. The last thing remaining is background. Background by default is sticking to the center, and I think in this case this is the best option. If I would stick it to the bottom, look what happens. We have this behavior, and with small fonts it's completely hidden. So I think the best would be to change it to center. And yeah, that way you can see that even if we have very small font, this ship is still visible in the background. So in this case, middle center anchor is the best option for us. Okay, so I would say that this is it for the general anchors. I would like to introduce one more element regarding to the responsive UI. And this element will be called, where is it? Here for currency group. First I will show you the problem. So if I would like to change, for example, coins value, let's say now we have, I don't know, 10,000 of them. It's fine that I set this text aligned to the right. Maybe I will give even more. Now we have this problem that those texts are not centered. But we can actually fix that, maybe not very easily, but there is a great component called horizontal layout group that allows us to align all items inside of it to the center. So let me show you that. Click on coins, so parent, click add component, and search for horizontal layout group. It messes up a lot of things, but we'll fix that in just a second. Change order of those elements so that the text will be first, like that. And as you can see, this horizontal layout group automatically analyzes its children and modifies the order of their display. Then I will change child alignment to middle center so that it will be centered. And finally, I will disable this child force expand. Now, with a bit of spacing, you can see that those elements are being automatically I don't know how to say that, automatically positioned inside of this container. So if I would like to add, I don't know, more coins, everything is being automatically centered depending on what's the value. This horizontal layout group is quite complicated. I won't go in depth about it right now because there are still some tweaks that we would need to do to make all of that working. But I'm just giving you a tip, something to think about and maybe learn more about. With this horizontal layout group and vertical layout group, you can achieve way more responsive UI for your designs. Okay, and the last part we'll be doing today is about safe area in your game. So someone was asking about it previously. If you're still here, let me know. We'll be doing safe area for our design. What is safe area? So previously I showed you some mockups in Figma. Where is it? Here. And you might have noticed that I was from the very beginning designing with notches in mind here on the top and on the bottom. By notch I mean this kind of cutout in the device, like for the camera, for Face ID sensor and so on. And by default with our devices, if we would design this responsive UI to always stick to the top edge of the screen, they will be displayed behind this cutout. But actually in Unity it is possible to get information about what is current device safe area. Safe area is this area device, this safe area defined by each device separately, where phone tells us how many pixels from the top and from the bottom shouldn't be occupied by anything. They should be safe. Nothing should be there. We can of course put background there maybe, so that the background is not cut out but nicely stretches, but we shouldn't display any information there. And actually in Unity we can preview this behavior. Here in the game preview, when I go, we changed aspect here, but we can also click game and change it to simulator. In simulator we have this nice view of different devices and how our game will look on all of them. So for example, if I will go to iPhone second generation, this is old mobile phone without any cutouts, and our UI looks very nice on this device. But what happens when we go to iPhone 12, for example? iPhone 12 has notch, and now you can see that our user interface is cut out and in this case, it's not that dramatic, but imagine that some important information is here, let's say, and it's practically invisible. So we can actually preview what is the safe area of this device. When I give more space for the simulator, we have safe area, and this is the safe area. We have here a big chunk of pixels that shouldn't be occupied with anything, and here on the bottom we also have a bit of space because there is this drawer to close up. I said that Unity gives you a nice information about the safe area, but to be honest, it's not that easy to implement, or actually I said that there won't be any coding today, so I'm sticking to that. There won't be any coding. So I found this amazing Unity forum post where someone basically written for us a piece of code that allows you to nicely take the safe area into consideration. So I'm going to this website. I will paste a link to it on chat right now if you'd like. Okay. And I'm copying this piece of code, go back to Unity. Here, let's create new script, mono behavior script. I need to call it canvas helper. This is very important to call it canvas helper. Let's open it. I'm not sure what it will be opened in. Visual Studio Code. Okay. Why didn't you use this component for the whole menu? Why didn't you use this component for the... Sorry, can you give me a bit of context, because I'm not sure what component were you mentioning. Okay, in the open script, canvas helper, I will replace the whole script, just select everything and remove it, and I will paste the code we just copied on this website. Sorry, not the link, the code. Okay, this is the code, and just save it. Do not modify anything, just save it. Go back to Unity. In Unity, you will probably see this information. Just a second. Yes, script updating consent, yes, just for those files. Okay, and we need to do a small setup here. Let's give it a second to load. Okay, we need to do a small setup. First of all, let's select all of the UI elements here. I've selected all of them, and I will right click and select create empty parent. This parent should be called safe area. It needs to be exactly called safe area. You can read about that here in this post. And also safe area should have this anchor preset set. Okay. Then inside of the canvas, I know this is a bit quick and complicated, but I just want to show you a quick way to implement the safe area for your projects without writing any piece of code. On canvas, which is a parent of safe area, just drag in canvas helper, and that should be it. Now press play. Make sure that you're in the simulator, which simulates this device. And after you press play, you can see that our safe area has been successfully applied. You might have noticed that after we played the game, it all stretched to fit the screen. And yes, our UI is safe from being cut out. A small modification that you should probably do here. So here with the safe area, we are cutting off this bottom part of the UI. So in tabs, you might remember that we have this image. all what I need to do is to stretch it to the very bottom and now move all the components to the top. Like that. Maybe also select, move to the very bottom. And usually all of this on the bottom will be cut off while you'll be working on the UI, but once the safe area is applied and it's being stretched to emit safe area, those parts will be visible on the bottom and maybe on the top. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I think I covered a ton of things, from building UI from scratch, even some designing process tips, from building UI from scratch to making it responsive. I hope all of that makes sense for you. Again, this recording will be available later on, so keep in mind, check your mail. But you might have noticed, let's switch to the last part of the live. There is still Q&A, so if you have any questions, be ready. But there is a gift part. So let me go back to my presentation. Finally, time for a gift. First gift is that I need to quickly prepare it in the background. The Figma that I've been showing you for this whole time will be available for you just after the live finishes. So if you are signed up to the webinar using the link in the description, you will get access to this Figma. You will be able to, to this Figma. You will be able to duplicate it to your workspace, to modify it if you like, to experiment with it, to try to export your own assets, modify some of them, and so on and so on. You will be also able to analyze my process of thinking and designing it. I think this is a great resource, especially if some of you said that you are familiar with Figma. So yeah, just in 3 minutes it will be available. I will show you that in just a second. And the second thing is that I will be giving you exclusive coupon code for my Master Unity UI course. Hopefully you have learned a lot during these 2 hours actually. And if you like to continue your journey, there is a course called Master Unity UI on my learning platform, cococode.net, Master Unity UI. Here in this course, which has more than 11 hours of content, you will learn everything to make, from the simple steps like we did today to more advanced stuff, like using not only sliders but also creating scrolling views, to making buttons that are clickable, to of course make your UI actionable, to do something with it. I can actually show you all the projects because this course is based on projects. You will be creating a total of 8 projects where you learn some simple things. Later you learn how to create a form to, input player name, to get player details, to change character color. Then you have Alien Factory project, where you are able to create a simple character selection screen. I can actually show you some final effects. It will make more sense. 1 second. I will log in and show you some of the content. Okay, Alien Factory, really fun project. Oh no, I don't have my own course. 1 second. Okay, I can't show it right now for you. Many different projects, because I believe that learning by projects is the most effective one. Then I will show you how to add animations to your own UI. So you learn how to create jumping animations, something appears, something hides, something fancy happens when you click on things. Then you have a projects when we create a map, something similar like in a Witcher game or other RPG games, where you can have a map and move around it, add pointers and so on. Actually, it's in trailer. I can just... I've been showing trailer. Sorry about that. Yeah, so here there are animations. As I mentioned, here is an example animation like in Angry Birds. Here we have this character creation tool where we learn about masking, about the drop downs. Then we also have this project with maps, where we have this map, where we have tooltips when you hover over an element, when you can click to add pointers on the map, and so on and so on. And then, actually we have also filters and settings. There is also another project with inventory, where you can learn how to add drag and drop to your inventory, which looks like this and is even more advanced. And there is even one more chapter coming soon, Final Boss UI, when you learn how to create a Diablo-like interface with this nice toolbar on the bottom and some minimap and some UI elements that are in such games. Yeah, so basically, if you like to continue your UI journey, check out the link in the description. You will be able to continue with this course, and as I said, with this code webinar15 you are able to save 15%. So this is a great way to continue your UI journey. And yes, I guess that's it for the learning part. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer them right now. I'm checking the chat right now, what's happening here. Awesome code for safe area. You're welcome. Really happy to share that with you. Okay, I can see that there are some new comments appearing. Maybe I will actually show them on the screen as well. Give me a second so that we'll have a nice view and I will be able to answer all of them. Okay, let's go to my live stream. This is the first time in, as I said, in a year when I'm hosting live streams, so yes. Okay, pop out chat. Let's keep this slide open. And what do we have here? Here, Yaroslav was asking, why didn't you use horizontal component for the whole menu? I could use it, but in this case, if we have those nice anchors for top and for the bottom, there isn't really reason to do that. Also, sometimes maybe you like to have different spacing for those items. I would say that horizontal layout group might be useful for this case. You could create a parent container with 2 buttons. Maybe later on you like to have 3 buttons and that will automatically resize all of them. It's up to you. You can experiment. In this case, I myself wouldn't use container for such a big elements. There's no need to, but you can of course do that. Can't stay more. I finished to watch the video. Thank you very much, Miguel. Awesome code for save area. You're welcome. I didn't know how to save data of player. Sorry, I won't be covering scripts today. Epic. Hello from Poland. Bro, can I use your assets to my own project? Yes, you can download this package and use those assets in your project. I asked before about layouts in game UI. For example, there are specific margin values between elements, margin value for the distance from the edge of the screen and say currently container. Does game UI takes graphic design rules? Like in graphic design, fonts sizes go like, are these kinds of rules apply to game UI? In game UI, depending on what kind of UI, because if we are talking about in-game UI, it's probably different. If we are talking about this kind of UI, so this I call it game lobby, there are also different rules. I would say that in general, the target goal is to increase the amount of purchases, obviously. I'm thinking how to answer to your question. Usually not, I would say. I would follow you up on that if you'd like to mail me, for example, because this is quite complicated topic, not for this live stream. But what I'm trying to say, like, look at the Subway Surfers menu screen. I wouldn't say that this menu, for example, has any rules really. Obviously, we are talking about rules to have a nice spacing between elements, but even that being said, when you look at when you go to your App Store, Google Play App Store, or other place to find apps, when you go to top 3 games at this moment, there are a lot of hyper casual games which also have this kind of screen, but there are no rules there often. Like, elements are popping up at you, something is very screaming, something is totally out of place to catch your attention. I think that this is unfortunately my opinion, because I'm really into UI design and I would like to have all the UIs very tidy, nice and so on, but I wouldn't say that such rules apply that much in games. Like, even here you can see that there are that many font sizes, and I don't think there are any rules regard those scaling. But I will be very happy to follow up on that. Please find my email on the website, contact, message me, and I will be happy to chat regarding that. How do you manage optimization of UI elements so the game doesn't lag? When I was creating my mobile game, the FPS dropped to 12 with shop opened, but when was it closed, it runs smoothly. I don't know what you had in your shop. There are three very expensive components in the UI. The first one are actually those layout groups which I mentioned a second ago. Often they need to be recalculated over and over again. So if you are using a lot of layout groups, and actually this is a good moment to answer this previous question. One of the reasons why I wouldn't create another big layout groups here, performance. There is like no reason to do so. Often I also use layout group just for the Unity to help me with the arrangement, but after it helps, I just disable it or remove it. And it's already arranged, nothing will ever change, and it's fine. So this is one thing. Second thing is animations, but this is quite obvious. You are animating, moving stuff. It's quite expensive. And the third thing, masks. Okay, I was about to say, yeah, masks. We haven't touched masks today, but yeah, as you can imagine, if you are using multiple masking, usually with scrolling, so a lot of elements are outside of the visible bounds, or you have even stacked masks one under the other mask. This is also very expensive. Again, I haven't seen your shop UI, don't know what is happening here, but I would suggest you to look at those three things. Maybe too many things were moving, uh, too many masks or layout groups. Something was off. You should keep it tidy. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chromeware. It was great to have you here. Hi, do you have any game? I have released Tube Tycoon game on Steam. Tube Tycoon. Maybe you have ever heard about it. So the fun part is that this game is 100% UI based actually. So yeah, this is a nice example of how I used Unity UI, because it's 100% Unity UI, to create a whole game and released it on Steam. So yeah, this is a YouTube simulator game. Check it out. Tube Tycoon on Steam. Yeah, okay. We have just a few minutes left. If you have any questions, please let me know or maybe you have any question that I haven't answered previously. Also, please let me know. I'm from Poland, Jarosław, of course. Again, Master Unity UI course, I strongly advise you to just check it out. Link in the description or on the course page. By the way, when you will now open your training website, you should see, whoops, yes, you can now see a page to download Unity assets, the same assets which I've been using today. And you have now already this Figma file, so you can totally join it, duplicate it and check it out. And there is also a coupon code for my Master Unity UI course on CoCodeLearn website. So go check it out. 2 minutes for the last minute questions. If there is anything, have you learned anything on today's stream? Please also let me know if you enjoyed it, if you like to join something like that again. Please, everyone who is online, still on the chat, please let me know what you think about this live stream. Was it helpful? Have you learned some stuff? Please let me know. I'm still checking out on the chat. Really liked it. Really happy to hear that. Now I can see that it was your nickname, Flower. Great. Great inspiration. Thank you very much. It helped a lot. Thank you. Thank you. As I said, tomorrow you will be able to watch it again. On your mail, you should get a nice email with the summary what happened today, with link to watch today's stream, to download any assets, to access Figma, to also access Master Unity UI course coupon code. It expires in 7 days, so go check it out. If this is something you like, you can totally continue your journey. Also, if you like to try out my course, you can go to my YouTube, subscribe of course, and there you can find Mastering Unity UI.
When you resize the game view, all the
first 1 hour of my course for free. So first 2 chapters from Master Unity UI course are for free on my YouTube channel. Okay, if that's all regarding questions, yes, Figma is a great tool. Check out the shared link in the comment and maybe play with it a bit. It is a great tool to first design your UI and only then also move it to Unity. Okay, in this case, if that's all regarding questions, thank you very, very much, everyone. It was my first webinar live like this for a very long time. So thank you for staying here. Many people I've seen from the very beginning. Thank you for that. I will be very happy to do another webinar live session like this again. And yes, in the meanwhile, have a great evening, day, whenever you are. And yes, bye. Going offline in 10 seconds. Bye, everyone.